Welcome to Today at Dunamis, the podcast where we uncover the truth and bring to light what is hiding in plain sight. I am your co-truth seeker, Ed, and here in the research den is lead truth seeker Shaun and code breaker Erica. But we are joined by a special guest who lives off-world most days. Welcome, Shaun! Hello!
Thank you.
Hello, welcome, Shaun. Welcome to the Today at Dunamis podcast. It's been a while.
I'm really impressed with the introduction music.
Yeah, me too. I thought it would be very fitting for our episode.
It's really set the stage for me.
It has. Shaun?
Yeah, I'm not impressed. But
Oh, you don't like the X-Files theme?
That's too spooky.
Too spooky.
See, he hasn't been upgraded yet.
Yeah. He needs to be
I like
upgraded.
that jazz you had. You know,
I thought we'd do something special for Shane.
All right, let's vote. Okay, I know
Okay.
you two are. Erica, where do you go?
Definitely jazz.
Jazz.
Okay, two.
Did we catch you eating, Erica?
Excuse me.
You know what's funny about catching Erica eating?
What's that?
She caught herself.
Is she
Normally
out
it's
herself?
us
She's in
catching her.
control.
She's in control. So
That's a scary one. That's a scary
So
part.
let's get the update, please.
Yes.
Miss Erica, how is the pregnancy going?
Yes? One moment. Oh, she's eating.
She's eating. Okay, should we come back to that?
I'm good.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I'm good. My stomach is getting really big. This baby is much higher than Cruz was, so but I'm good.
Oh, good.
Okay,
That's good.
That's good. Well, you're looking a lot better this week because I know last week you had a tough week. So
Thank
praise
you.
God you're okay. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
that's all right. Good look after the.
I had a really crazy dream last night.
You too.
Yeah.
that you
I
had a
dream.
baby?
No. So I had a dream. We were doing the podcast.
That's comforting to know.
Right? Yeah. I had a dream we were doing the podcast in the basement for some reason, and we're about to go live,
Yeah.
and I forgot to set Shane's mic up.
No.
So this morning, only thing was on my mind was I have to set Shane's mic up. I prioritized that the first thing this morning.
So interpreting dreams and things, right? No, I'm just saying is that what happens is that you probably went to sleep or you're thinking about the changes for the day.
Yes.
And then your mind throws up pictures as to what it could be. So
Yes.
why the basement? I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't
just
know why
thinking
it's in the
about the urgency.
But the microphone is set up. You can clearly see that it is set up and working.
And
It is working.
I haven't been sabotaged or undermined.
Yes.
Yet.
Good.
Yeah.
Which we know is
There's always a possibility.
always a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we love having Shaun on because Shaun is always helpful, especially when we have conspiracies or codes or,
Different
wacko
perspectives.
things.
Yes.
But this is not a wacko thing.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Yes.
this is not wacko. We'll leave the Apollo to another day. Okay, but this is one of those conspiracies which has to do with the almost or the attempted or the suggested coup in Russia.
Oh, man, the whole last weekend was just Wagner Group. What are they going to do?
So first of all, let's
yeah.
say who the Wagner Group is.
So the Wagner Group are a private military force,
A militia.
that is or isn't
It is
hired
It's-
by the Russian military.
No, it
They
has
have
come
been
out this week that they have shown that all their financing has come through Mother Russia.
Which allegedly it's about $1 billion, I think it was,
a lot of money.
the equivalent of $1 billion USD. That's how much funding they've received from the Russian government, which is insane. That's so much money, man. So
And they're meant to be fighting in Ukraine as a type of a. And remember, to get recruits, they emptied out Russia's prisons.
Yeah, it's
so
insane.
murderers, pedophiles, those on death sentences.
Yeah.
If they would agree to serve in this private mercenary group,
Yep.
if they survived, not only would they be paid, but also they'd be released.
pardoned,
Pardon, yeah.
which is insane. Just to think about that. That's how desperate they were. They're getting criminals to fight in their war.
I think they're the leaders of criminal themselves.
Yeah, I
so-
mean,
Well, it's the people that are least needed go in the front lines as cannon fodder.
yeah, cannon fodder. Yeah, that's been the Russians' technique this whole war. Send out the cannon fodder,
Get it
and
up.
then they get the special forces to go and clean it up.
The elites always stay back.
Yeah, generals
And mop up.
Yeah, mop up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and so they're trying to push forward, and they did experience a level of success.
Yeah.
Because
Well, they were the only one getting success. The Wagner Group was the only one getting success in the Ukraine war, and that's why the generals got so much popularity and power, so to speak.
See,
Oh no, they changed. Are you talking about the generals of the Wagner Group or the, generals
general
of
of
the
the
Russian
Wagner
army?
Group, the current guy.
Because all the generals in the Russian army are being replaced.
Yeah,
Or killed.
Well, that's what I mean.
They're
He's the
either
only one who
killed or
hasn't been
replaced.
I think there's a big
Yeah.
percentage of the Russian military that really don't want to be there.
Yes.
They have cousins,
majority.
uncles.
Yeah.
They have family there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true. The majority.
Forced conscripts.
So
Yeah.
if your heart is not in the mission, you'll never have victory.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to fight through to get victory.
yeah.
But whereas the Wagner, they're getting paid big money for this.
Yes.
They probably have no emotional ties to anybody there. And they see the dollar sign.
Yeah.
Well, they
It's
were
a job.
pillaging, raping, butchering,
yeah.
kidnapping, whatever. And seemingly, as the story goes, that happened on Saturday, was that the Russian Air Force had, well, this is kind of purposefully or accidentally, okay,
Like friendly fire.
yeah, bombed the army, the private
Wagner
army,
Group,
and
yeah.
some 2,000 of his private army were killed.
Yeah.
So
That's what triggered all this. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So was it on purpose? I mean, we all know that whether it was the Allies, Americans and Australians, there was friendly fire. People died.
Yes.
For all the English, the Australians, the Americans, friendly fire. And why would it be any different in the Russian?
Yeah.
army?
Usually when there's friendly fire, the side that fired will usually make apologies for that immediately.
Yes.
Right? Where
Yes.
this time the Russians said, wasn't us.
It wasn't us.
Oh, they said it wasn't us.
Yeah.
They said it wasn't us.
Yeah. And then Ukraine said, no, it wasn't us either.
Even though it's a terrible thing.
Yes.
I mean, we know in any war that
Yeah.
positions get confused and muddled and the wrong people get bombed and killed. But there's generally, if you kill your own people, there's a response immediately.
Yeah. Immediate response. Yeah.
And so the story goes then that the Wagner, whatever you call the group, turned tail,
Yeah.
left their positions in Ukraine, and advanced into Russia.
Started advancing to Russia. Yeah.
So seemingly the Wagner Group, we call it. Why is it called Wagner Group?
I don't know where Wagner comes from. Mike, well, I think we're pronouncing it wrong. Isn't it something like Wagner or something like that? Like that's the Russian pronunciation of it?
Wagner, but
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know where Wagner
It
comes
could
from.
be like its business name. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's an acronym.
Yeah, maybe it stands for something.
Yeah, I've never really.
When at Gore, I don't know. But anyhow, did you know that the Wagner Group shot down 6 aircraft?
Yeah, they shot
them?
down
they
aircrafts, yeah.
they sent in their aircraft to break up the convoy coming in.
Yes.
And seemingly none of the Wagner Group died, but they shot down some of the planes, they shot down the helicopters, and because it was Putin who was honoring these so-called pilots.
I
Yeah.
found an answer.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Is it an acronym?
The name Wagner itself comes from Udkins. He's the co-founder. Own call sign, which is Wagner.
Oh, it's his call sign.
Oh, so
He
just named
said
after
he is
himself.
said to have chosen the name in honor of German composer Richard Wagner because Adolf Hitler admired his music.
That's exactly right.
Oh.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you had a code name, Ed, what would it be? Fred.
It'd be Big Ed.
Big Ed. Big code name.
You're
Oh.
not supposed to include your name in it,
It's supposed to be code
Like-
name.
It's a code name.
like
Yeah.
Eagle or something.
You just blew your cover, Ed.
I just blew my code. Dang. Dingo 1.
Dingo.
You're good.
What would be yours, Shaun?
Well, if Dingo 1, I hope you're not from Fraser or what the new name now because they bite French people on the beach. Okay. Oh, you got the red hair, so I can see that a bit. Yeah. So what about Erica? Erica, what would be your code name?
I don't know.
I'd
I'm
call
not
her
good at this.
again.
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 Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, again.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Pregnant again.
It's got to be like an animal or something like
Oh, an animal?
Yeah.
Okay.
like cougar or I
No,
don't know, mountain,
I'm not
mountain
going to call a
lion.
girl
Mountain
cougar.
lion? Mountain lion?
Let's go for
I was trying
puma,
to think
puma.
of like
Yeah, Puma.
Go for Puma.
no, but I'm from Oklahoma.
What's the Oklahoma? What's the
Yeah, a
Oklahoma?
puma is in
animal?
Oklahoma.
No,
No cougars, mountain lions there?
we call them mountain lions. So we
Yeah,
don't-
but they're still pumas.
I don't know.
So we're really confused on
I
who
have
you
to
are because you
research.
come in the area. How about we call it Sooner?
Sooner?
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That, oh,
Call it Sooner
fine.
1.
Sooner
or
1?
cowboy,
Yeah.
cowgirl.
Good girl, yeah. That would be Shane.
Shane?
Papa Bear.
Papa Bear.
Papa Bear.
Nice.
Remember the French underground?
No.
No?
Okay, it's a long another story.
Oui? Bonjour?
Monsieur.
You deliver?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't. So
Escargot?
what was Papa Bear for the French?
Sorry?
What was the Papa Bear
What's
for
the
the
story?
French?
We got time.
Well, when the POWs in the German camps
Yes.
would get contact with the French resistance, the underground,
Yes.
and they would do all their little clandestine.
Did you get this
operation.
from Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought it.
Of course I did.
I thought it.
I learned everything I
I
knew.
thought it sounded
From Hogan's Heroes.
Do you not remember? Do you
he
not
doesn't
remember?
know Hogan's Heroes.
Do you remember?
I learned everything about the Korean War through MASH.
Yeah, well, don't go for this one. Come in Plink. All right.
Well,
so,
is that what TV's for?
Yeah, for history.
Mama bear to Papa bear. Come in, Papa bear.
All right. Yeah. I'm thinking to go this way. All right.
All right, Shaun, your code name.
What
Come
was
on.
my code name?
What's your code name?
I don't know.
Big dog. Big dog.
The
Eagle,
BD?
Eagle
No.
one.
Eagle one.
Eagle or Eagle?
Oh, 21st.
He
Air.
said beagle.
Oh, Beagle?
No,
Oh, I thought he
I'm
said
not doing
beagle.
Now they're always escaping.
Oh, hang on. It's going to be Shepherd.
yeah,
Something
that's
Shepherd.
there you go. Shepherd one.
Shepherd one.
Bold Shepherd.
No, just Shepherd one.
Shepherd one.
How about
Okay.
shepherd's pie? Yeah.
Shepherd's
Cannibal. He's such a cannibal.
Shepherd's Pie. You there? Shepherd's Pie. Come in. This is
No, I'm telling
Dingo
you,
one.
it's it's Shepherd.
Shepherd pie. Someone wants a piece of you.
Because
Quick.
you know why I go? Do you know why I go Shepherd?
Why is that?
Because pasta, shepherd,
Oh.
sheep,
I was thinking your dog.
I knew that.
pasta. Yes, Eric was at Clash yesterday. Where are you at?
She's good.
Okay, so comes in. All right, let's get back to the story.
Oh, yeah,
please.
All right,
Wagner
and so we have the situation where they're moving up. They've shot down around 6 or so aircraft from Russia. They're moving ahead.
Yes.
They take the main command center that deals with the Ukraine section.
Yes.
And I think 12 or so Russians are killed altogether,
Yeah.
but none of the Wagner's done. The people are celebrating and cheering and everything else. And then they're about, well, the rumors is anything from 200 to 100 kilometers outside of Moscow.
Yeah.
And the road seems open.
Yeah, everyone
I'm
was
sure
like,
there's
"It's
definitive. There's open.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Ed, we hear on the announcement,
There was like a peace deal with the Belarus president.
Belarus, yeah.
I think is
Lukashenko.
Lukashenko somehow brokered a peace deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just out of the blue. It
of
just
the
seemed
blue.
like they're going for it. It's finally going to end. The infighting's happening,
Yeah.
and then it just
Stopped.
stops.
Yeah.
It just stopped.
Well, of course, you'd make a deal with them.
Yeah.
When you have this army advancing close to your border,
Mm.
you're going to want to make friends with his enemy,
Yeah.
Belarus.
Belarus.
Did you know that the Belarusian president
Yes.
and Putin, okay, both took off into their hiding places. Their planes took off.
Yeah.
They did. They took off.
I mean, Putin had two planes going in directions to confuse, but they took off.
Yeah.
As well as I understand some of the Russian generals.
Of course.
We fight from the rear.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
But yeah, there was a peace deal, and it just felt so like.
So the question is, Ed,
Yes.
and this is what I asked Shane,
Yes.
what did they offer this commander of Belarus who was now remember, his trade was nothing more than what, a chef, wasn't it? A cook?
Yeah, he had a string of restaurants.
A string of restaurants. This
Yeah.
was before the war.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was best friends with Putin.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, maybe over the vodka and over a meal, he said, if you made me a commander, I will fight for you. So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I mean,
So, Shane, you have a theory as to why Wagner gave up.
yeah.
What do you reckon, Shane?
Well, there's a few theories.
Yes.
And they're all very dark and confusing. But one is that you get a phone call saying that we know where your family live.
Well, we have your family.
We have your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So you need to turn around and make this pretty and polished. Make yourself look bad. Make us look good, or your family's history.
because
Yeah, wow.
even though his army retreated to Belarus, he flew to St. Petersburg.
Yeah. He's flown.
And he was there for a couple of days before he flew from Petersburg to Belarus.
And someone said, had he have thought about his advance on Moscow for it to be successful, his family should have been with him,
As generals would do, normally.
Yeah.
as Napoleon did.
Yeah, true.
Took his family with
Took
him,
his family with him.
because that's a target that any man will lay down any weapons for,
Yeah.
or your life for that matter.
Yes.
But when they're in the hands of your enemy, what can you do?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is
It's
a theory.
It's only a theory.
Yeah.
And Shane is the man we brought on as a theory. do. So we'll leave that up to you.
There is another one.
Yes.
Oh, another one.
there's
Okay.
quite a few,
What's the
actually.
other one?
What's the other one?
There's quite a few.
Yes.
How does he find these things?
Research.
Yeah, he's got a collection of carrier pigeons that work in his information network.
It's the I got news from the Cancer Man.
Oh.
The what, man?
Cancer Man.
Cancer.
You know, Cancer Man on X Files.
I don't know what this means.
Well, he knows more than the president. Anyway,
All right,
Anyway.
I don't know this. Okay, so
Theory.
theory. both the Russians and the Wagner Group really underestimated the Ukrainian forces.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And even I think up until now, the Wagner Group were coming under heavy resistance as well.
Yes.
Realising that, you know what, we're not really doing a lot here. We look at Bakhmut, how long did that go for?
Oh, months, right?
And all it is a pile of dirt and some wood now.
Yes.
What are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
It seems
anyway.
like the Ukrainians have almost got it back now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When you're trying to advance and not going anywhere, you can either keep going or through attrition have nothing left, weapons or men,
Yes.
or retreat,
Yeah.
which they will not do, or cook up a story so I have to go back.
Oh,
It's not retreat,
yeah.
even though it is, but I'm putting a different label on it.
Yes.
So
Oh,
I'm
yes.
taking a different course, regroup, rearm, reorganise, whatever.
But they've now been disbanded and they've now been unarmed. All of their armour has been handed back, and all their army has been said, come back into the main force or go disappear.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard about that. That it's Russian military doctrine to when stuff starts getting looking tough.
So
you retreat, but they don't call it a retreat. They
No.
call it a strategic.
You can't say that because if I say I'm going to retreat, I will be. That's just you can't live with that.
Yeah.
That's disgrace.
Yeah, disgrace.
It's dishonour.
Dishonor. Yeah.
So what's the other theory?
There is obviously the theory about the cash involvement in it because
oh yeah, that's going into the Russian culture where everyone takes a little bit off the top, and about how every general will take a little out of all the money that's given for.
I don't
war
know,
and-
Putin. I think the first theory is more understandable because
I agree.
Wagner he's lost face,
Yes.
and Putin has lost face. And I still think, even though Putin said he's safe, that guy's going to be watching over his shoulder.
Yeah,
he
I
might have
can't
a
believe
cup
he's
of
still
tea
alive.
and it's
Yeah.
got radioactive stuff in
and
it.
sit on the bottom floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I just think his days are numbered.
Yes,
so.
I agree.
And then Putin's also lost because now that force is not on the front line.
Yeah.
And so that's gone back.
Who's fighting in this war right now from the Russian side? Just
Russia.
the military? Just the Russian military? No, I don't know if there's any PF groups.
Well, I don't see Ukraine has really advanced any great. I mean, they're advancing, but I haven't heard anything at top.
yes.
See, even as small as Ukraine is compared to the others,
Yes.
their advantage is that they're fighting on their home soil.
Yes.
You look at the history of war around the earth over the centuries.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
Yep.
you look at if you attack somebody or invade their land, they may be inferior to yours, but they have the higher ground because of the moral aspect.
Viet
Yes.
Cong.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did that. All right. My head's on. Erica, what do you make of all this?
Do you know what's incredible? That we have freedom of speech and that we can do this
Actually discuss
and talk
this,
about
yes.
it.
Unless we talk about the yes vote,
Oh, hey.
and then there's no longer freedom because if you don't agree, you're classified
But that's
as
not
racist.
actually true. That shouldn't be true because I just took my citizenship test for Australia. I got 95%. Woo.
How many did you need to pass?
75%.
Okay, good for you.
But freedom of speech is something that they really hone on of as long as it's within the law, you're allowed to communicate. And it's
It was in today's paper, the Courier Mail is saying that it's stronger than ever before now, that if you don't agree with the yes, then you're classified as racist.
then technically that's illegal because I'm allowed to
But it
think
comes from
whatever.
our Prime Minister. He's the one saying it.
But the thing is that the Australian values are that we can peacefully disagree and that we can have opposing opinions.
Well, then
while
the other
still
thing comes in,
respecting each
if you
other.
oppose transgender, you're labeled as a transphobic.
So something interesting, we're having the ethics course in DSM.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pastor Alan Shepard is teaching that, and he brought up that right now society is becoming a rights-based society when it should actually be a responsibility-based society where if we are responsible for ourselves in the way that is honorable and good, then people have their rights and they're honored.
Yeah.
And so it's not a healthy swing for us, the pendulum, to be like, oh, here's all my rights and here's all this stuff around it. It's like, actually, you can have your rights, but how about you be a responsible person for the community instead?
Yeah, I know right now, I was reading something, in America, there's been actually a shift, a move, very like coming to anti-transgender and anything else because, and they put it down to the number one reason why there's been such a shift in America is because of the desire of the transgender to have a say on the children.
Yes.
So wrong.
That in their schools that it's mandatory to be taught that the transgender would come into the libraries and so it's like drawing a line in the sand. Now, Australia is a lot more, what's the word? Less aggressive in this areas than what America. The two most aggressive, assertive ones they said was French and the Americans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they said, they said because they were both birthed in revolution.
Oh.
And revolution is in the DNA to get out and speak louder more. But I don't know how true it is, but it comes across that area.
But also, why is the minority voice so loud?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it just a loud minority?
Because of a government that came in, that has promoted it. So if you had conservatives in power, it would not be so.
I'm going to say something controversial
Oh.
really quick. So in the Australian test...
Get ready to hit the beep thing.
No, it's not like that. But what they highlight is that men and women have equal rights.
Yeah.
They don't say, I won't elaborate the letters because it's offensive for me to get it wrong. But, plus XYZ, which isn't accurate. But it's like men and women have equal rights, not all of this other fluff that we've added to it. So in the basis of the values and the laws and the standards of Australia, that is what it is, not the minority voice. Excuse me for being explicit and
I didn't get any explicit.
Yeah, what was offensive about that?
but
I can't figure that one
because
out.
I'm stating the standard, like that is offensive right now. But it's like, but that's the standard.
Well,
at the
saying
end
men
of
and
the
women are
day.
equal.
Yes, and excluding the other options.
Oh, you're talking about how like transgender.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Oh.
Like it's actually not it's not what's communicated as the actual Australian standards to people becoming Australians.
Yep. I think I get what you mean about how like
It's a challenge.
So that's why I'm like, they can have, the prime minister can say what he wants, but at the end of the day, that's actually not the truth about Australia.
Yeah, the actual
Well,
constitution.
today's
So-
paper was also saying that the LNP or Liberal is set. They say I don't know, that the Conservatives, if they don't change and be more liberal, will lose 35 seats because the younger age are more liberal. Now, is that true or not?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? And who's wrote that article? A liberal.
Oh, yeah, I'm of the left. Left side
trying to
of
do that to
LNP,
influence.
yeah.
Because what they do is they try to put suggestions in to get people's mind of changes and things. So,
Yes.
so I don't know. I think that there are seasons where one group comes in, another group sweeps them out.
Yes.
You know, and I'm just looking forward to the group that sweeps them out. So, but the only reason why we don't have conservative in power is because the conservatives swept out the conservatives
Yeah,
Which is really
because they're too
foolish.
extreme. Yes.
Really foolish.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what they say, Eric, stupid is what stupid does. But the primary thing is, I always said this, that whether it be the church or whatever, our own worst enemy is ourselves.
Ourselves, yeah.
As our own worst enemy.
Yes.
And there are people on other podcasts who have adamantly worked to remove a conservative prime minister. Now, did he make mistakes? Sure.
Yes.
But they all do.
They all make mistakes.
But when you compare that prime minister's mistakes areas towards our current and others, in my thinking, there's just no change. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to see next year with our state election,
Yes, Queensland, yes.
and I'm seeing if the Conservatives do get up.
I should be able to vote in that. Theoretically,
Oh,
I'll be able to
true.
vote. I'll be required to vote in that.
Yeah, required.
No, you get a fine. And
Yeah.
so unlike America, you have the freedom to vote or not vote. Here, it's
mandatory.
It's mandatory.
It's part of my duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is come the area. So what will that coalition do? Because let's think for a minute what the Labor has brought in. Okay. Well, it brought in for the transgender. Okay, that they can have their own
change their gender. on their birth
license
certificate. Oh, yeah.
to where you can have it as the opposite to your gender.
Yeah.
And not have on your gender.
Yes.
So you can go in there. I know of a person who's a male who's adopted the identity of a woman.
Yes.
So went into the new license wearing a wig. So what happens if they're driving without that wig and the other stuff in the name, right? The second thing that the government has brought in is even worse now. This is our state government, that you can change your birth certificate.
Birth certificate, yeah.
So if you were born a male, but you want to be a female, you can have your birth certificate changed to say female.
Yes.
Without
doctor's approval.
Yes,
Yeah.
which before you could with doctor approval.
Then, this is controversial, okay? It's been suggested today, I don't know if you've seen this, that the premier for the Olympics wants to change the name of our city.
Yeah.
So it will not be called Brisbane. but it will be called Ed.
Meajin. Meajin?
What?
Meajin?
Meajin, which is meant to be the Aboriginal pronunciation of Brisbane, I think.
So it's not just how Fraser has been changed, and I understand North Stradbroke's been changed, and I'm sure Morton
Interesting.
will be changed, but to change the name of Brisbane. Now, is this going too far?
Like Brisbane's such an iconic name.
Well, so was Fraser.
Well,
Okay. Look, I'm not offended that Fraser Island's name was changed. I'll be honest with you. I'm not offended because I think the very origins of named after Mrs. Fraser is a bit weird.
So
anyhow,
what is it called now?
Fraser? Fraser Island is now called.
Insert the name here because that's what's going to happen if they change the name of Brisbane. We're still going to
Just
call it
Google
Brisbane.
again. What's the name of Fraser Island now? Someone will be yelling
All
out
right,
on them.
I'll look.
Look
So
up
it's
Erica.
changed, and
Yeah.
North Stradbroke it's been changed. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next episode is the next thing is changing the name of Brisbane. Now, seemingly, it gets worse.
Oh, okay. It's I'm sorry because I don't know how to pronounce. But Kagari.
Yeah, Kagari. There you go. So it's Kagari. But similarly, there was, I don't know if you know, Qantas is really strong on First Nation areas.
Yep.
So on the flight, I was listening to talk about it today, from flying back from, I don't know if it was Cairns to here, at first it's confusing because it didn't say the flight to Cairns, but it said the indigenous name for Brisbane.
Oh.
That's confusing.
But it was on a roller thing, so then it would change to the area, but it had it in there as well.
Oh.
So, this is, I really think that something like that should be put down to a vote.
Yeah, I don't think they should be able to change it like a capital city.
A capital
That's
city. I
insane.
think it should come to a vote. I can
Yeah.
understand different things, but we got to come across to what are we doing?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Now,
So-
some things do have Aboriginal names.
Yes.
Yeah.
So name an area in Brisbane or Queensland that is known by its Aboriginal name.
Tanamera.
Oh, Tanamera.
No, that's Malaysian.
Yarra,
It's red soil.
Okay.
Yarrabilba?
Yarrabilba, which means laughter, and
Yes.
that there. Wollongabba,
That's what I was going to say.
Indrapilli,
Yurongpilli.
Yurongapilli.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So all is good. Indrapilli, Yurongapilli.
Yuronga.
Okay. Yarrabilba.
Yep.
Okay. They're all knowing. I'm not sure about Maruka, I think somewhere there, but they're knowing the areas. So see, it doesn't worry us
Yes.
because it did. But I'm something iconic as Brisbane.
Like our
Now,
city.
I'm not saying it can't be changed. So let me make this clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if Captain Brisbane is really the great motivation for us.
Yes.
Okay, but I just think it should go to the people
Yeah, it should be a vote. Yeah, definitely.
because that to me is important.
Yes.
I'm not saying it can't be changed.
Yes.
And I'm just saying we should have say in it.
Yes.
Okay,
definitely.
and this is the whole problem.
Can you imagine the changeover, the cost involved in everything now that's scrapped and this new name comes in?
Well, for
Yeah.
Brisbane,
Who pays for that?
See, so the issue is I fully respect the wrongs done to First Nations.
Yes.
And
yeah.
they were done. When I
Yes.
hear the story about how First Nations were butchered by farmers and different ones because they didn't understand the cattle and the principle you couldn't eat them,
Yes.
and there are atrocities, and for the people to not say there weren't atrocities,
Yeah.
you're a disgrace.
Yes.
Atrocities have been committed,
Yes.
even until recently.
Stolen generation.
More recent.
More recent.
More recently, in the last 20 years,
Yes.
whereas First Nations, say, working for the state government, weren't paid the same wage as a white person, others.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a compensation thing going in the medical area to come through. I know people living today who worked in the medical field in Queensland, and they were not paid the same rate.
Yes.
So that is definitely wrong. And there's a settlement going on in those areas. So I'm not saying there isn't wrong.
Yes.
Okay. The stolen generation, well, I get it, but also you need to understand too that the English were a stolen generation.
That's right.
Because after World War II, and we have people in this church who were sent as orphans to Australia to be resettled.
Oh wow.
Here's the issue.
Yes.
They weren't orphans. They were taken. We got people in this church.
Oh wow.
So it came over us too, and a lot of things. So I'm just saying, there's more than just one area.
Yes.
Okay. Although we only hear one area, there's more than one area. Now, it comes back on us because we've neglected our First Nations, and I understand that. But there's got to be a balance, because if the government doesn't calm down and become more inclusive, then you are going to see racial things come up.
More racial tension. Yeah.
You're going to see it, because
Yeah.
it is going to happen, and it is starting to go. And I'm not blaming First Nations. I'm blaming government.
Yeah.
Because they've got to learn to steer it correctly.
Yes.
To where, like, for example, I remember I was involved in missions work in Honduras.
Yes.
And we were working in an area. I was just over as a team with a guy called Alan Danforth.
Yep.
And what happened, setting up orphanages. Right? So what he did was that he said, if you just went into a village and set up an orphanage, right, and you just did the care, because there was poverty, I think it's around there, the villagers would attack the orphanage and drive it out.
Yes.
Because they feel they got better treatment. So when they came into a village, they made the village inclusive.
Yes.
So they also got things. They also helped out. And so then what happened was that the village celebrated and wanted these orphanages, and they did them as homes.
Yes.
So they'd have one home with a parent who would have 4 or 5 kids, and they go around doing it. So it's more inclusive. So the problem with our government is that they are bringing in these rulings without including us.
Yes.
We're not being included. We're not having a say.
Yeah.
I understand Mount Warning, but we're not having a say.
Yes.
I understand Fraser Island. And I think the majority of people would say it makes sense, but because they're not involved in it, it's not making sense.
So the article here says, Palaszczuk, is that how we pronounce it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Palaszczuk.
Palaszczuk is working behind the scenes with First Nations people and the Greens.
Ugh,
But like,
Greens.
where's the people's input there? None. There's not any.
Well, that's right. I mean, the Greens is like, what are they, 6%, 7%?
Yeah.
I mean, so they're not being inclusive. And so this, again, is making way for trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, what happens when the Conservative Party come in? So this is why if we don't learn to include, it comes in. So with the yes vote, there is I haven't heard one white person say that they have a problem with recognizing First Nations as the original people. I have not heard anyone say. Now, I'm sure there is the odd nutcase.
Yes.
But I haven't heard anybody.
Yes.
Right? But what the concern is, the cost. Already we pay 400 something, I don't know, is it $1 billion a year for similar entities that speak. Okay? So is this another entity that we spend another 700 million on? Or do they replace the existing one? Or how does it work? This is the problem. And so the government is so fixated with an agenda that if they had to put it down, say, okay, on this year, we're going to do it just in this one area.
Yes.
We're going to do it on, do we agree to change it? Now, the Labor Party could bring it in without going to voting anyhow. They have the majority. They could bring it in,
Yes.
but they don't want to. Why? What is the behind-the-scenes thing on that? Why? Albanese can easily pass in the lower house and the upper house the ruling to accept all of this stuff without going to poll. Why does he want to create such division? Why is he doing this? He could bring it in.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Because here's my question. Is the yes vote a referendum for the Constitution?
Yeah, it's for the Constitution. That's why it has to go
Because
to the
that's
people.
why. Because a referendum to the Constitution has to be
I understand
majority
that,
of people.
But what he could do, though, he could bring the changes in without it being a referendum.
Yeah, but then the LNP could come in and just get rid of it. That's
Well,
what I mean.
But that's like anything. So that's like in the American presidency, right? So when the American presidency can't pass things through the House,
Yes.
so Obama in his last term had split, couldn't pass things through. So he'd have what they call the president's direction.
Executive order.
And he could put it in.
Yeah.
The only problem is, within the first hour Trump came in, he could change it.
He could change it, yeah.
But then the first hour that Biden came in, he changed Trump.
Changed it, yeah.
Okay. But that's the reason why to keep everything protected. But the issue is, it could be so easy for Albanese to just say the referendum's on, we recognize our First Nations, which is really what it's all about.
Yes.
Then those other things we leave, or he just does it for the government, and he'll be left to see what happens. But the issue is, there's just too many question marks. So what happens? It makes people in the church or anywhere else. Okay, we have phenomenal First Nations people in our church who we love dearly,
Yes.
and they have been treated unfair. I agree. But the issue is that if you say no because of all the other funding, you're labelled as racist. I'm not saying this is what happens, and this is what the Labor government is doing. And Albanese is front and center on that area. He says he's not, but the words he's made have been very, very nasty and wrong.
Bit too emotional, maybe. I guess.
It's not emotional.
Yeah.
It's a deliberate set. It's there. What Albanese is doing is not emotional on the thing. It is deliberate. and it brings ascension.
Yes.
It is to try and to destroy the conservative by saying that this is who you are, you're real rednecks. And that's what it's all about, is for the more votes. So it's a real tragedy.
Yes.
And good people, like First Nations, are being used. Now, here goes the other extreme. China is infiltrating our media again, right? Of
course.
So China is releasing things, and you can Google this one. I was thinking that they're released to the Chinese in Australia. So this is China to Chinese in Australia. That the yes vote means that First Nations can take your home from you.
Wow.
So they've been releasing things to Chinese people from China last week. And the reason why it affects, so to you, you go like, no, I got the title deed. But the reason why it affects the Chinese is because they came from a dictated nation that do that. And because they come from a communist country where the government can do that, they're doing it to unsettle in our nation.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you have to look at that news. So there's a whole big thing there. So you can see how it's being used all the way through. So there's some real tragic things happening. And what can be a good thing is being turned into a real terrible, ugly situation. And to me, that is a real concern.
Yes.
A real concern. And there's a lack of wisdom. And again, to all my brothers and sisters of First Nation, I fully 100% support that we should recognize in our Constitution as the first people here. But the issue here, what stops us, is the lack of clarity. The government asks us to trust him. I do not trust the Labor Party. I do not trust the LNP. I don't trust any of the parties.
Yes.
Because every single one of them have been and are untruthful.
So
Every one.
So just like from surface level research, like search of the yes vote, it says to alter the Constitution to recognize the first peoples of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander vote. But then there's an article that says in 1967, they basically had the same vote where they voted yes. But the difference is they said it was done in faith, but now they're seeing if that faith was justified or not, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this has been something going for ages, and so it's a very sad situation because what I'm seeing right now through this yes campaign, I'm seeing more division than ever.
Yes.
Then you add onto that title claims, changing of names. There's some tough situations where, and you got to understand, and I hear you, but all of a sudden you can't climb Mount Warning anymore. You can't do this, or you don't have access to this beach, or you have to pay now.
Yes.
And, I think we need full disclosures about what is going to happen. So there's an understanding.
So
Yes.
do you think that the comment from the Chinese has a degree of truth in it? If they see those as precursor warning signs that you could lose everything?
Well, I know you're a conspiracy theorist, so
But this is how-
you would be open to
This
that.
is how it works.
We're not in a communist country.
You do things that are accepted over time. You will hate it initially, but that over time, you will accept it.
Well, the government does have the power to resume land,
Exactly.
and we've already seen that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so we see it right now
Absolutely.
through the wetlands with Eagleby. Okay, we see that with our own church land in the front. Okay, where we have no say. All right,
that's right.
So it does happen. So to say they can't. So what if you have built in what might be seen as a sensitive area? So what is a sensitive area? Well, it's it could be a cattle area where they say the sensitivities and whatever else. And so these things, sure, there's a partial truth. I mean, they're saying it's adamant, but there's partial truth. So what if they said that, we do this and there's an area, what portion? And what we want to know too is that if they change the name of Brisbane, what portion of Brisbane is being handed over? Because in every place where it's being changed back by name, there is a portion. So on Fraser Island, there's I don't know if you can look it up, Erica. There's like there's so many acres now that have been given where there'll be no access allowed by anybody else. Okay, on North Stradbroke,
Yes.
there is a percentage now that it is handed over, no access. Now, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying it's happening. Okay, Uluru.
Yes.
We know what's happened in that area where the change is you can't climb, can't do anything, and Mount Warning. Okay, I don't know if it's become the law yet, but as far as I knew, you can't climb it anymore. I think it is the law. So the issue is that here are the things. So sure, what happens in Brisbane? So if it is changed or given over, is it just a name title, or is it also a percentage of the area? So what parts of, and remember, in land size, if I understand correctly, I think land size, I'm not talking about numbers, but in land size, you can Google this one, I think Brisbane City is the second biggest in the world in space land.
Yep.
I think, believe it or not, I think it's San Francisco, it's the biggest land space.
I can't find the handover details.
Okay.
But one thing that I find interesting is the name, I'm sorry if I butcher the pronunciation, Minjin, that they're going to call Brisbane, literally just stands for the spike of land.
Okay.
It's like not very meaningful, in my opinion.
Well,
sorry.
but that doesn't mean it's not meaningful, so we won't go down there.
Okay, no, but
But
like,
I mean, but
okay,
everything has
fair.
a thing. Like for example, Wollongabba is bubbling springs.
Right. That's
Yeah,
like,
but-
that's nice.
Yeah, but it could mean something else. So I don't know. So I'm not bold enough to go there. But
Okay,
all I'm
fair.
trying to say is that, what would be given up? What's done?
Yes.
When do we have a vote?
What do I need to search for to find the answer? Because I am not finding it. Just,
You mean so?
what is it called? Like,
So Fraser Island.
yeah.
Okay. How much land has been given back to the First Nations?
Okay.
On Fraser Island as part of the agreed name change.
Okay.
So there's a portion of it given up. And I'm not saying they can't have it. I'm not saying that. But Shane's saying, what if you had a home there? So is it only national park?
Maybe a bit wild to read. It would be a bit wild to take residency away from.
Well, nobody says anyone has.
Yeah.
But what Shane is saying, government does have the power to do it.
Okay,
Yes.
I found it.
Okay.
Sorry, I just didn't know what I was searching for. The title deeds for 670 square meters of land on the eastern side of the island have been handed back to the Bachula people.
So 670 square meters doesn't sound like a lot of land.
It's not a ton, yeah.
No. And what about on North Stradbroke?
Okay.
So 670 square meters is not a lot of land. Seriously, I mean, when you figure out, what 1 acre.
Small house block.
A quarter acre
acre.
is 1,000. So 1 acre is 4,000 square meters. So that's not much land. So
there's a lot.
on North Stradbroke,
600. Maybe this is. I'm sorry, I don't know measurements.
Go ahead.
6,483 hectares of land. on
okay. So one hectare
Minjuraba,
is what, about
North
5
Stradbroke.
acres or something? Is it? I don't know.
Not sure.
I can find out.
Yeah. So just as in acres. So we know 1 acre is 4,000 square meters. So, and again, I'm not saying that they don't deserve it. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that. And maybe a lot of that land was the old sand mining area,
Yep.
which I think would be positive to do it. Yes,
15,908.644 acres.
15,000.
That's what it says.
Okay, that's a lot of acres. Okay,
So I was just thinking about what you guys were talking about.
Okay.
And I guess I was thinking, like, is that really going to happen? Are they seriously going to take land away from Brisbane if they rename it to an Indigenous name? And I was thinking about, hang on. We're looking at this from a completely the wrong perspective. Do you know why Stradbroke, or the other islands you were talking about, why it's totally okay for them to, there's not a lot of pushback? And I was just thinking about Brisbane, the difference between Brisbane and those islands. And I was remembering, there's no casinos on those islands. There's casinos in Brisbane. And to get a little bit more conspiracy theory, you have to remember a lot of our nation's GDP is built on the back of gambling. So, in my opinion, a lot of decision making comes back to what the casinos want.
I think there's no evidence of that with our nation.
Well,
In Oklahoma, that would be true.
No, that's American
But I
First
can't speak
Nation.
for Australia.
I'm just saying, like, if the casinos want land, they get it here. If they want to build a casino, the governments approve it. If they want to approve gambling stuff happening here, they'll get it. So if they're like, I don't think an Indigenous tribe will get any land in Brisbane, sadly, because once again, there's casinos.
Oh, you're talking about
That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of our nation's built on the back of gambling.
Okay, Brisbane.
So
can you have a Google this one here? Because
Sure.
as far as I know, the Brisbane's land mass Brisbane's land mass, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is, as far as I understand, is the second biggest in the world. I'm not talking about population, but in land mass.
Yeah, how much space it takes.
Yeah.
up.
Wait,
Yeah.
so what's the question?
So,
What is the landmass?
yeah, where does Brisbane
How big is
City
Brisbane, right?
rank in the world in land mass?
Area.
Area, land mass area, and as far not population, as far as I understood,
Third largest in the world.
third largest. So who's the first two? I think San Francisco is the first. I think
I'll find out.
so. Third largest in land mass in the world.
Yes.
So I'm talking about land mass.
Yes.
So I know that Brisbane borders Logan.
Yeah.
I know it borders Inala. I
Yes.
mean Ipswich, Inala. I know it borders Morton.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait.
So it's a big area.
Yes.
So where?
I'm sorry. I think my answer was wrong.
No, it's not
I
the
think
third.
I think it's right.
I don't know. I have to keep looking because I'm confused.
Do that one there.
I guess when I hear about this kind of stuff, I always go back to, well, hang on.
Oops, sorry.
How much money does the indigenous bring to our economy? And I'd probably say it's very low. How much money does the mining and gambling bring into the Australian economy? Oh, I'd say quite a majority of our economy is backed on mining, second gambling. So then I like to think,
No, it's
well,
not. That's not true gambling. The
look-
tourism is second.
okay, maybe tourism.
Mining is
but-
number one, and then you got tourism and
Sorry.
farming.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, really fast.
Yes.
Other than landmass, what's the other word you used?
Area.
Area.
Area. Thank you. Sorry.
Because,
Square
okay, look, well,
kilometers.
I guess I got to disagree. Because do you know why gambling's never been outlawed in
I-
Australia? Because it's such a part of our economy.
That's not
It's
true.
like
It has been
30%.
outlawed.
It's no, gambling's still legal. That's what I'm saying. Gambling.
No, Joba Peterson had outlawed it in his time.
Well, I mean,
As Premier, he had outlawed it in Queensland, and
Yes.
and I lived in that time.
yes.
Okay.
But it's back now, right?
Well, he died. He was removed and everything else that
Yep.
came in. Okay, but he outlawed it.
Yep.
All right, he wouldn't do it. No,
Yes.
Joba had good things and bad things.
Yes.
In the end, it was more, I suppose, the bad than the good, I suppose. But Shaun and I lived in those days.
Yes.
And all the southern other states says Queensland's the most boring place to be because as soon as you crossed over, there's no gambling allowed.
Poker machines.
Yeah, so if you wanted what we call the pokies,
Yeah.
you had to go to the Tweed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where the Tweed Club was huge. All the Queenslanders were parked in the car park and
Yes.
they wanted income. As Shane, we knew it. It's called Seagulls.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was the club over there. Now you hardly hear about them because they're here, but that's how it was. There's no
Correct.
casinos allowed. The first casino allowed here was Jupiter's. It was called the Gold Coast. The second one was in Townsville.
Yes.
And then it came over here to Brisbane City. All right. And then all the pokies came in. And what a problem that's caused.
Yeah, I mean, it's still here.
Anyhow,
I'm really struggling to find the answer to
don't
your
worry
question.
about it. But I know that it's
Sorry.
it's around that second or third area there. 'cause
It does say that the language they use is okay. And Brisbane is the largest of Australia's 6 capital cities by geographic area and the third largest in the world.
Yes.
but
And
I can't find it on a list to compare it.
Doesn't matter. It's still there.
Okay.
I know that San Francisco, which is a smaller city, was at one point the biggest.
Yeah.
So, but this is going back. But
Yes.
it's still telling us the biggest in Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a huge. I mean, everyone's going to think, no, Sydney. I'm not talking about population. I'm talking about land
Yes.
mass.
Yes.
And it's a huge. And all I'm saying this for too is that we're talking about Brisbane being changed.
Which I don't
And
think
so-
it's going to happen. Because, like I said, it's going to affect business.
It's not going to affect business.
That will 100% affect the businesses.
Changing a name.
Yep.
How will it affect business?
Because of the amount of money that would have to be spent to change all their branding. They'd rather have more profits.
You can still
to-
no. You can
Can
still
it-
be running out using the name Brisbane until your material's done and you rechange it.
I was gonna say, can it be an honorary name, or it's like it must be the actual executed?
I think you
legal
just
name?
read the report as it is that the Premier is having discussions.
Yeah.
So she's on a
it's not clarified yet.
bandwagon right now because right now in the Labor they're wanting to look like they are humane, they're honouring and
Woke.
and well whatever. But the thing I feel is I feel for First Nations because I feel like they're a pawn.
Yeah.
They're being used, and it's their emotions and their areas that comes in and you know when I was a kid. First Nation people didn't want to be identified as First Nations. Today, there are persons trying to identify as First Nations who are not First Nations.
Yes.
In America, you can't claim to be First Nations unless you can prove you got at least 1/4.
Yeah.
Whereas over here, all you need is a First Nations person to say, oh, yes, they are. I think you need 2 of them to identify you are, which, and I'm not saying the majority of First Nations aren't honest, but there's always going to be the odd one for money will change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm just saying we need a bit of wisdom here.
Yes. I guess I'm just more black-pilled on this. Like, I mean, say
that again?
Black-pilled. Black-pilled means you're kind of like a bit more... you feel a little bit more doomed on the situation. You feel a lot more like, well, like, we are under the mining,
You fixated
mining
on mines, aren't you?
industrial complex. No, well, it's true. Our whole.
Well, let me tell you, the mines are pulling out right now in Queensland.
Yeah, I know.
You know why?
Because they're starting to dry up, right?
No, they're not. No, the royalties.
Oh, royalties.
The Premier smashed the royalties to such a huge, I forget the exact amount, but they're just like, it's not 2 times, 3 times 10, it's just huge royalties to where I think it went up to like 20% or something, 10%. I mean, it was huge amounts. I forget what the royalties jumped to, but it was a huge amount of royalties they jumped up to. Yeah. And to where now it's like, it's just not feasible in the base and everything else. All right. And they do pay fees towards First Nations for mining.
Yeah, of course.
They can't mine; they got to get permission. Yeah. So it has happened, but in the basin areas, and what gets me is that the government wants the royalties of these minerals, but they want to stop us using it.
Yeah.
Hello. I mean, what a joke we have. And I'll be frank with you, every area where we have our Labor government, state and federal, eradicating our coal mines and shutting down our coal mines, fine, do it when we have something to replace it. That's like selling your car before you got your new car.
Yeah.
Josiah, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just not the normal way to do it.
Yes.
I mean, you wait. And, in Sydney, there hasn't been a day gone by, right, where it doesn't still depend on 76 to 80% of coal.
Yeah.
For the industry.
Yes.
And they're closing things down. And that's why our expenses are out of control.
Yeah.
Our electricity. I mean, I what did the federal government say? Like their positive, what do you call it?
Hearing?
No. Their profit they made is, they thought it was going to be around 4 billion or something, or trillion, and it's going to be more like 10 billion or something. And then what did Queensland say its profit was? Like about 6 billion. Do you need to take that call? Keep calling you. That'd be urgent. Just do a text them and say, I'm online.
Yeah.
I don't text.
Oh, you can text it in from your phone. So, but the fact of the matter is that Shane's important. He said like 6 phone calls.
Yeah,
here.
this guy, yeah.
Listen, Shane's online right now. Lay off, okay? So, come on.
Secret intel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They say, Shane, you're on the area. Let's shop.
Yeah.
We got your position.
Yeah, but the fact about it is a real issue of subject. You know what I mean? And, it's a subject I'm kind of a little bit nervous talking about, because there are good people who only see that it's right that recognition be given, which I understand, but maybe they don't understand about all the other stuff. And, if a politician asks you to trust them, forget about it.
Yeah, I know. I don't trust
And
politicians.
I don't mean disrespect. Listen to them, hear them. I want a politician to sign a form, a legal form, that they have to resign, that within the government amount of time said, if they haven't come through with it, they have to resign. It's just, when are the Australians going to have some backbone to stand up and saying the prices for living? I mean, like all the Coles, Woolworths, the money they're making.
Yeah.
The farmers aren't getting it. They're going bust.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not getting it. That's why whenever I see, you know what I've noticed the last week? Every time I'd go to, because I do the groceries, Woolies always says, would you like to give? And I go, no way. Because I know that since they did it with Food Bank, and we can't, we're being ripped off now. We can't do it.
Yeah.
It is worse now than ever, right? I will not donate.
Yes.
Now, for the first time, I was at Woolies, and they didn't ask me to donate.
Oh.
On the screen.
Oh, wow.
So, groceries, who's getting it? How many hundreds and hundreds of millions have your Coles and Woolies made?
Heaps. Lots.
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about
600, 400.
Yeah.
Then let's take the banks. How criminal, and I do mean criminal, is what's happening and I do mean criminal.
Yes.
One of the excuses I heard a financial advisor said, they have to pass on the interest rate because the cash investor's got to get it. They have never passed on the full amount on.
Yeah.
They hold it back, but they've put in the full amount. The people, you watch in the next 12 months to 2 years, the people who bought their homes overpaid.
Yes.
Because the market is just stupid.
Yeah.
And so your house is not worth that amount of money. I don't care what you get. It's not worth it. The only reason why it's up there is because we have not the infrastructure for housing repayments. Now, the CPI, I took for granted, Erica, that Ed would remember because I taught on CPI and he couldn't remember what the acronym meant, okay? But our CPI, which is a Consumer Price Index, dramatically dropped this month to 5.6.
Yes.
In comparison to 6.8 last month.
Yes.
Now, you can take note of what Shaun says here.
Yep.
I don't see how the Reserve Bank can put up the interest rate because they're coming up next week. Next Tuesday will be the first Tuesday of the month. It won't go up.
Yeah.
It can't go up.
Yes.
I mean, there'd have to be riots in the street. Can't be because CPI dropped to 5. Now, remember, the magic number is 2 to 3%.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. But it dropped down to 5. Remember, we're up to almost 7.8%.
Yeah.
So then it was 6.8 last month, which is high. Now, what's putting it up, okay, is not people.
No.
You know what's putting it up? Fuel. Well, fuel's come down.
Yes.
Okay? But groceries are up.
Yeah.
Electricity is up. Health insurance is up.
Yes.
Motor vehicles are up. Tradespeople are up. These are all done by government areas one way or the other with the costs. Like, for example, wages is now up. Do you know how wages are now up? Because as of the 1st of July, superannuation went up another 1%.
Of course.
So now, as an employer, I now pay all of the staff, okay, which I'm not saying you don't deserve it, 11% super instead of 10, starting 1st of July.
Right.
And then next year, whenever else, it goes up to 12. Now, you know, that's fine, I budget in it, but that's just going up. So that's CPI.
Yes.
That still puts the cost of living up. See, people don't realize that. You say, well, I'm not getting, hey, the CPI, every time you get a wage increase,
Yes.
right, which is supposed to come in July, isn't it, the wage increase?
Yep.
Well, only if you're in the under, not if you're overpaid, but in the area there.
Yep.
That's your CPI up.
Yes.
So every time you fight for that wage increase, CPI is up. All these things are up, which is going to affect interest rates.
Yes.
Now, you go walk in a mall, and you'll see in all those shops now, clothing area, they say there's sales on. Have you ever seen something say 20%, 10%, 30%? I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I went and got going off the cuff here, I like the Uggy boot slipper. You know what I mean?
No.
You know, Ugg boots,
Oh,
the
yeah,
sheep
yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the slipper one.
Okay.
Well, meaning this, it covers up just below my shin, okay?
Right. Yep.
So it's not a slipper,
yeah.
but it's the, so I'm not sure it's real wool or not.
Okay.
But I mean, I looked around, I saw in the mall there, they're like on sale, $120. I'm like, nah, I ain't paying that. Then I walked past that surf shop, whatever they call that one there. What's it called there? There's at $28.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I don't know if it's real or not, but I don't really care. It just keeps my toes warm.
Yes,
you know, I
yes.
can wear shorts and those things. It's okay.
I need to digress. I've been researching the landmass of
Yeah.
Brisbane thing.
She is fixated on that.
Yeah.
I am
She's-
because we have talked about being fact checkers, and
Okay.
I think that the information is inaccurate.
Okay.
And part of it is because defining the largest cities in the world can be tricky, as countries can have different definitions of what a city is. So, like the top one actually in the world, it includes 5 smaller municipalities in Greenland. So I think that Brisbane information might be slightly outdated now, because it's not even on the like top 10.
Well, we're just about Brisbane as this capital city in the area there. So
Okay.
I think you find that we
So
are
in like
in that area
in
because
the
we don't
Western
include.
definition.
Yeah, so we don't.
Okay.
So if we include municipalities, that'll be like Houston now claims Kingwood.
Right,
It now
exactly.
claims Katy.
Yeah,
occasionally.
okay.
So it comes to the area.
So
but in
as-
Brisbane, so that'd be like us claiming Logan.
Right.
Or claiming Ipswich.
So just to clarify.
Yeah,
But
so-
then one other thing, we have Kit and Courtney have been commenting. They've commented. So we just want to
I
say
saw
hello.
that.
Thanks for your comments.
Hello. Courtney, who's the other person?
Kit Edom.
Okay, very good. Kit.
Okay.
Thank you. But anyhow,
Yes.
nice to have you. I saw it on the screen here. But the issue is, now I've lost my track of mind. Ugg boots.
You're talking about
things
Ugg boots
came-
for a
So
bit.
Expensive.
anything you're buying and doing comes up. Now, as each month goes by,
Yes.
and it's continuing, so we're coming July, August, then what happens? People are coming off their fixed interest rates
Yeah, it's true.
because they had it fixed. They're coming off of it. And this is what the banks are waiting for with hungry hands. I mean, like, how many Commonwealth Bank? 6 billion. The lowest was ANZ, 3.5 billion, and National Bank, 5 billion profit in 6 months. Okay, Qantas, some months billion. Okay, so what happens right now is people are coming off, and it's exploding.
Yeah.
So right now they're already saying that in the next 12 months, the people who bought homes can't keep them. They're going to be selling them. So I know of one person.
Yes.
That got nothing to do with our church and that, but I was just talking to him. I know of one person just this week who for the last 7 months have been trying to buy a house here in Brisbane.
Yes.
Oh, not Brisbane, but in Queensland.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have been set to find a house. And I know them personally and been talking to them. So since before Christmas,
Wow.
since about the 14th, they'd come up here looking at come here, and they had a plan. Okay, what they want to spend, how to do it, and part of that plan was it had to have a granny flat,
Yeah.
because the granny flat was to subsidise by $300 to $400 a week.
Sure.
The cost, right? So they were either outbid, contract didn't go through, whatever else, all the way through to now. So as of this week, they signed on a house.
Right.
Yep.
And I said to them, where's the granny flat? Well, they're so emotional wanting it, didn't get it.
Yeah.
Within 24 hours now, they're like, I don't know if I can go through with it, but they've already signed.
Already signed.
And then that lending institute that gave them approval
Yes.
for up to this amount, right? Within 12 hours, contacted them and said, the house you've purchased, it's worth less than what you're paying. I don't think we're going to pay. But they did unconditional on it.
Oh.
Oh no.
But there is a 7-day cool off, so I hope that they
Yeah,
do
work
it.
something out, eh?
But the fact of the matter is, you can have a lending institute says you're pre-approved for $1 million. So you go out and you get the 1 million. They say, well, hang on a minute. We value that house only worth 800. We're not lending the money.
Yeah.
Right.
But you pre-approved me for 1 million. Yes, as long as we agree that it's worth that.
Okay.
Because they want their money. So, I mean, it is crazy out there still, man.
Yeah.
And real estate agents are crazy because they just want you to sign sight unseen or not checked. And not. The guy didn't do any building inspection.
Oh, wow. What the heck?
Yeah, because they're saying, no, dude, you either take it or leave it. Well, walk away.
Yeah, walk away. Dang.
So all I'm saying is these things are going to have ramifications. It's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you're wanting to buy a house, my view to you is wait.
Yeah.
Wait if you can. More people now are moving back home with mum and dad. Well, your son lives with you, but you have a granny flat.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I mean, if that's the right word to use,
Sure.
in the area there. I mean, Ed, you live with your mum.
Yep.
Well, actually, you always have. Okay. So it comes in there. No, Josiah, your family's too big to live with me. Okay. But I know other families in our church where they are now renting out their home and they've moved back with family.
Yep.
So that's the time it is. And it's a difficult thing.
Yes.
I mean, it's difficult out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what people are asking to pay, I don't know what the average is just to rent a room in the house.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, it's crazy. Just for a room.
A room.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they got it, but I've seen advertised people saying $400 a week. Now, I'm not saying they got it. I'm not saying that. I just said I saw it. What someone puts up doesn't mean it's what they get.
Yeah.
But what do you think is the average now, Shane, of someone renting a room? Any idea?
No, I don't.
If you just had a room in your house.
I've heard between 300 and 400.
Oh, you have heard that. See, I would have
That's
thought
just a
that
room.
maybe 200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But 300 to 400. Oh, my goodness. What have you heard, Erica?
I was gonna research it.
All right, then you research.
Okay.
Because we are accurate here.
So you look at
Ed, what do you think you've heard?
Oh, look, anywhere from 250 to 350. That's the
For a room.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah. Just wild. Just for a room.
Yeah, well, but see, here's the thing. Didn't I hear the Greens, I think it is in Canberra, right? And just hear me out on this because I know I'll irk people, saying that they want the federal government to go through with this housing thing to build, have got to freeze landlords, right, lifting up rental prices, right? Yep. But here's the issue, right? And I'm not trying to be rude. Then freeze the banks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because there are crooked landlords, I agree, but there are also mums and dads who have an investment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't think investing in second homes is the way to go unless you pay cash. I'll be frank with you.
Yeah.
Okay? You do better off things with your money than doing that.
Yeah.
But that's me. I know that's going to offend some people, so just agree to disagree. Just love me. Don't be feisty on me.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, all right, is that freeze the banks. Because what happens to the landlord, okay, who the bank, we're not talking about once a year.
No.
We're talking about, was it 13, 14 rises in just a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's a lot of money. And every time it goes up that 0.25%, on average, it's around $200 a month up.
Yeah.
Or a week, but a month. I know one family, now, big debt, I don't know how they did, $750,000 debt.
Oh my goodness.
Right, on this property, right?
Yeah.
I know it. So they're all in it together,
Yes.
right? And they're just coming off. They just got noticed that in October they come off of their fixed term. So they're currently paying 3.8 a month, like that.
Yeah.
So the new term will be $5,400.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of interest. So now they've negotiated with another lending group to come in, and it's going to come down to like 4.2.
Okay, well, it's better, I guess.
That's still $1,025 a week.
Crazy though, yeah.
And I'm not talking about your Taj Mahal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on acreage.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But 3-bedroom house.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, it's there. So, but anyhow, you know, we come through. So what's the answer? Well, you know, you got to learn how to balance things. You got to learn how to budget things. You got to learn how to, I'm different to some. So this is Shaun speaking.
Yes.
I still believe in honoring God because I believe that there is a principle there.
Yes.
If it has to be something you see, then you won't have it. But it's my faith. It's how I've lived. So that's what I do. But there are things there. So there are some wacky do's. Do you see a conspiracy in all of this?
I do.
What's your conspiracy in all of this?
Well, I'm not going to actually call it a conspiracy. It's a theory.
Yes.
All right. Well, same thing.
I call it a conspiracy. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Shane.
Do you really want that?
Don't rub your hand on it because it causes a noise.
Sorry.
If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it.
Share it, Shane, or I'll share mine.
Oh,
You share yours.
Maybe at another time.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Want to hear mine?
Two. Go ahead, share yours.
So
Can it make sense this time?
so
Because some of your things don't make sense.
I've been wanting to research it a little bit further before sharing it, but in the current
Well, then
draft
should you share it
stage
then?
is something that it's difficult to research unless you know where to look.
Okay.
But we always talk about how there's always a lot of, I can never find a house. Or I feel like the houses that are available are actually like really expensive to rent. Something that not a lot of people are talking about is, I just had the word. It's called housing vacancy. So if you look up in a suburb, how many houses are actually lived in versus how many are empty versus how many are empty and on the market. That one in the middle, how many are empty and not on the market? It's something crazy like 30%. 30% of houses in a suburb are empty and off market. So it's creating an artificial in the market of it's making the current market go up. You know what I'm trying to say? Like there's a lot of vacancy.
This is true because I already know that from the Brisbane City.
Yeah.
So the Brisbane City are investors.
Yes.
Who have nil occupancy.
Yeah, okay. Nil occupancy.
And,
that kind of stuff.
And they are saying a large number nil occupancy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's the problem. Do we live in a dictatorship or do we live in a democracy? So are we giving, therefore, government power, and here's the issue, to enforce upon someone has a nil occupancy, okay, that we say, hey, because your house isn't occupied,
Yeah.
We, the government, are moving people in.
I mean, why isn't it on the market? I mean, why is it empty?
Because a lot of these people are overseas investors.
Yeah, and that's their prerogative.
And that's right.
Yeah.
So, and that particular target is overseas investors.
Yes.
Okay. And those overseas investors, all right, have said, I don't want to, I don't need to, I own it. And it's sitting there. If we pop in to visit the country, it's a holiday there. So they might come in here maybe, 2 weeks every year.
Yes.
They don't want people in it.
Well, it's the same as if you have a big house, you get a knock on the door and a government official says, look, you got room spare here. I got a family that are coming in.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got 5 bedrooms, there's only 2 of you.
There's only 2 of you. But that's my prerogative to have what I want.
That's his prerogative.
I've worked hard for this. And if I choose to bring people in, great. What if I choose not to?
And I'm with Shane.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just such a socialistic country.
Absolutely.
So if the government doesn't like it, then do a law that you can't sell it.
But Ed, is the point that you're making that it makes the numbers like skewed slightly?
No, it affects the economy. So,
okay.
So because he's just saying if there is 30%,
Right.
then we could be taking that pressure off of the backbone
Yeah. Well, there's
of
currently
those looking for home.
a housing issue. People aren't able to get
Right.
houses
I
right
see
now.
the technical aspect of that. There's a space where a mum and 2 kids that are on the street at Ipswich right now could be living.
Yeah.
But it's the process of arriving at that.
Right.
But it's the government's job.
Absolutely.
It's not your job.
No.
It's the government. So the government
the
has
solutions.
at Griffith University,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, I think it's Nathan, several hundred units
That's
Yeah.
right.
in the student economy, which they have now decided not to spend $1 million to have people move in because the bush is too close and it's a bushfire challenge. So why can't you cut down some of the trees? Oh, because it's environmental.
Maybe there's an animal in there.
No, environmental.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the hypocrisy of our government. We have at Pinkenba, the federal government built that centre, supposed to be for COVID, which I think is a combination for 500 rooms.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's empty. They're not doing it. Then we have Toowoomba,
Right.
which the government only leased, which has 300 or so rooms, empty.
Empty.
So there are feasible things that are available, okay, for the government. We have old people's homes. There's more and more are closing up
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
because of the push that you've got to have a nurse 24 hours a day, where the government, and I'm not saying Queensland, but governments of other states, could be buying them out or taking them over and housing people. Right? They could change laws even here that would allow us to be able to bring in what do you call them, little houses or things like this
Tiny
till we
house.
can do
Oh,
tiny
yeah,
houses,
tiny house, yeah.
which are temporary on the wheels to where we can do it. But the councils want so much money.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And I'm not talking about work done, but so much money. Logan City Council over 20,000 just to connect, to have permission
Yep.
to put one. And we're not even talking about the connection. They just want 20 grand for even handing in the paperwork. I'm not talking about subdividing, but if you said, I just want to put on a donga, or thing there
yes.
and connect up the surge, I want 20 grand.
Yeah.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
does that mean it's done? No. That's just our fee.
It's all about the money.
Yeah. So when do we regulate these things? You know what I mean? And say, you're not really serious about the area. You're not serious.
No.
I have solutions that I could accommodate 20, 30 people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the council doesn't want to know me.
Yes.
Which I've tried to talk. Okay. And the state's not interested. They won't return calls.
Yes.
So I wonder how serious it is. Is it because it's not a photo shoot opportunity? Is it not the area? Like what is it that they don't want to do? What is it? See, they're not really. So what do they do? So there's foreigners who have 20 to 30%, which they bought under Australian. See, if you don't like a Chinese person buying land here,
Yeah.
then change the federal law. Don't attack the Chinese person.
Yes.
Change the federal law. It's a federal law that permits. If I go to China, I'm not allowed to buy a property.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's because it's in their law. But if our law says you can, it's not the Chinese person, it's the law.
It's the law.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the example. It's the law that's the ass meaning the donkey. I'm not
Yeah,
spoken
yeah.
rude. It's the law. But we attack the person.
Yes.
It's the law. It's our lawmakers. And that's the whole problem is that we have lawmakers who just do whatever and they're not held accountable. That's why there's got to be a change in our government, like a real change.
Revolution.
I was trying to watch the opposition leader in the state last night because the director of the health thing resigned.
Yeah, he resigned, yeah.
Now, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but dear me, he's got no energy. There is no, oh, yes. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but there's no energy, there's no emotion, there's no passion, there's no, like, hey, man, be passionate about it or get someone else in there who is.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to get in next.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen him on TV. There's no passion. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Okay, I don't know him, to be honest. He wouldn't return my calls anyhow. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's no passion.
Yes.
I mean, look at me. I'm just talking. I'm passionate. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. You have a heart for people.
Yes.
That's where it lies.
Yeah.
So if we don't have a heart for people in the community,
Yeah.
or the lady up the road it's sleeping in the bush in a tent,
Yes.
Yeah.
and we got more important things to do, like build 15-lane highways.
Yeah.
Because we're during an Olympic Games.
And fair enough.
Which, I reckon the Olympic Games
Well,
shouldn't be running.
Well,
I'm against
under
it.
the conditions of what we face right now. It's a dilemma.
Yes.
We've got people in the streets, families with kids. It breaks your heart, and yet they want me to get excited about something that's happening out the front here.
How many
On a
billion? How many billion are they doing right now to rebuild the arena? Which one is that right now? Is it the Gabba or is it the Old Lane Park? Is it $1 billion to refit it out for the Olympics?
Yeah.
Like the arena? I mean, like,
Well, we're going to put people in there to live when it's over, or I think the priorities are lost in society.
Yes.
The priority. What is number one? It's people.
yeah.
It's families.
2.7 billion Brisbane's GABA.
Well, the Wollongabba, $2.7 billion
Whoa.
for the Olympics in 2032.
Yeah.
What could we do with that money if they're serious about housing? I mean, seriously.
Oh, but the economy, it's going to give a good boost to tourism.
It's not. There is no profit made in these games.
Yeah.
That's why we've got it, because nobody else wants it.
Exactly.
I know time's up. Erica's
I
got to
just-
go. But I'm just
I'm fine.
passionate.
I just didn't know if you wanted to do a spiritual recap.
I have no spiritual recap today.
But Pastor Shane had a good one that it's about caring about our neighbors and loving our neighbors.
I agree.
Love
You don't want me to give a spiritual word now, do you?
That's what I mean. That's it. Love
Oh,
your neighbors.
I can give a
That's
spiritual
part of the
word.
solution.
So this Sunday.
Yes. This
I
Sunday?
have a spiritual word before we go. Is that okay? Share it?
Okay, you give us.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. In Hebrews,
Yeah.
it says, by faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as a son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Yeah.
So he held to the value of being of his birth heritage. He wasn't an Egyptian.
Yes.
Yet the Egyptian way of life tried to transform him into an Egyptian man, but he chose not to. He held on to the faith.
To be identified.
Not to be identified with Pharaoh's daughter.
Yes.
Even though he rose through the ranks there quite well, he respected and honoured them,
Yeah.
like we should do in our lands.
Yes.
But the underlying factor was that he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, which means I'm not going to change who I am. You know what I mean? And it says later on, by faith he kept the Passover, the application of blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. If I give up my faith, who I am, what I believe, and go to the other side, then there's only tragedy from there on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's not give up. Good word.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I'm continuing on a series of Fight Like Jesus.
Yes.
And although it's called Tuesday, because it's the week before, so it was on the Tuesday before his crucifixion, I called it Traps, Truth Telling, and Traitors.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yes, traps. And you remember I shared last week about the whip and Jesus and all that
Yes,
sort of
it's very
stuff here.
interesting. That was
Yes.
interesting.
And so
yes.
what happens, it says in Mark 11, verse 18, as a result of that, it says the religious leaders were looking for a way to kill Jesus. And then in the book of Matthew 21:46, it says those religious people, looked for a way to arrest Jesus, but they were afraid of the crowd because the crowd liked Jesus. They realized they had to get the crowd to turn on Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what I think the government's trying to do. They're getting on us to turn on each other.
Yeah.
Turn on each other. So with that goal in mind, it wasn't long before the chief priests and teachers of the law had a plan. And so the temple authorities asked Jesus a series of what I call baited questions. I'll be sharing this on Sunday, in hopes that his supporters will turn on him.
Yes.
Okay, and that's what it's all about, and that's what's happening. They're trying to make the church be bad. They're trying to make this bad. They turn on each other, and this is what happened. That's why there's so many fights in churches,
Yeah.
because what the government does. So the whole issue, how they do it? They do it about tax.
Tax, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do they do it here? With tax, money, land, everything else. So nobody likes paying tax.
Yes.
But for the people of Judea, Israel, it signified their lack of autonomy because they're paying to Rome. It's not for their own benefit. We complain about the tax money not spent on us, but this is going to the Caesar and all that. So they were not free, and they were subjects of Rome, and the empire's mandatory poll tax reminded them this every year. So when they did a census, it wasn't like us to know the figures. They did a census to say, well, how much tax should I be making? That's what happened there. So the Gospel of Mark in chapter 12, verse 13, tells us that the religious of the temple sent some of the Pharisees and what we call the Herodians to inquire of Jesus. And the Herodians comes from King Herod's area, and these are the ones who supported Rome because they got financial benefits.
Yes.
Whereas the Pharisees, a religious group, who are today's rabbis, all right, did not support the Romans. So they sent representation from both. Those who supported the tax, those who didn't. And they sent them to Jesus to try and trap him. So they came up to him, they tried to use flattery. And Mark 12:14, they say, "Teacher," Jesus will be rabbi, "we know that you are truthful and do not care what anyone thinks." That's meaning you speak your mind. Okay? "For you are not partial to anyone, but you teach the way of God."
Yes.
But the Bible says Jesus knows they're cunning and he knows what they're up to.
You know what they're going to say.
Yeah, and after luring Jesus with praise,
Yes.
the Herodians and the Pharisees set their trap. They said, "Is it permissible to pay a poll tax to Caesar or not?" Now, the question is designed to only allow for two possible answers, yes or no, pay or don't pay. Now, if Jesus said yes, pay the tax, then immediately he's discredited himself before the crowds because the Jews say, we don't believe in paying the tax.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if he said pay the tax, they'd be going like, well, then you can't be our Messiah.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay? And if he said don't pay the tax, then the Herodians could call in the Roman authorities saying he's causing dissent and not paying the tax and have him arrested.
It's a no-win scenario.
Yeah, no-win scenario.
Yeah.
But this is where the beautiful thing is this. Don't be worried when people try to set traps. Rely on the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, the Roman coin, the denarius, was a standard silver coin minted by Rome, okay? And on the front was the face of Tiberius Caesar.
Yes.
And encircled around that was the words Tiberius Caesar, the son of the divine Augustus, meaning he's the son of God. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And the reverse side, the other side of the coin, displayed an image of the goddess of peace, according to the Roman gods. Now, true pious Jews, the Pharisees and everything else, refused to carry any of these coins. Okay? Because according to the second commandment, God's people were not to worship any other gods or to possess any graven image. That's in here.
Yeah.
So to carry a coin with the picture of Caesar or the goddess as saying he's a god, according to the true Jew, would be a sin.
Yeah.
Okay? So because Rome knew this, Rome permitted the Jews to mint their own coins.
Yeah.
Because it's silver is silver, right? So for what it was worth, it's worth, not like
Yes.
ours. So they could produce their own coins, okay, which didn't have any facial inscriptions, so that so wouldn't be seen.
Yes.
So here's the scene, and this is what measures me up. So Jesus is in the temple area. The Herodians, the Pharisees come in. Jesus follows it there, right? They want to trap him out. So they say to him, "Is it legal to pay tax?" Now remember, they're in the temple court.
Yes.
Yes.
So especially in this place, you shouldn't have a Roman coin, let alone never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jesus says, "Do you have a coin?" Now, by Jesus saying, "Do you have a coin?" he's saying, "I'm not carrying it."
That's right. He turned the trap around.
Right. I'm not doing it. So guess who hands him one? The Pharisees and the Herodians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hang on a minute. He's just caught him out.
Caught him out.
Yeah.
He's just caught them out carrying the coin that you're not supposed to.
Yet they're trying to attack Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's carrying it.
Yeah, and the Bible says, and the crowd was just caught with the wisdom of Jesus. And all of a sudden they go, "Oh, you're here." Oh, no. Dang. You know what I mean? Like,
What was it? Bong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got that? Yeah, I'll take that one. And all of a sudden they're caught out. Well, that's my message, okay, on Sunday. Well, that's not the message, but that's a taste of the message, which is called Traps, Truth-Telling, and Traitors.
Yes.
And so fight like Jesus. Then, of course, we have our markets. Is that right? So
Yes.
spread the word about the market. So from 2:30 to 3:30, we're doing our markets. I mean, I got some great things to the produce.
Yes, yes.
I got 1 kilo gourmet tomatoes, I think, for $1.50.
Oh.
That's
Very
cheap.
nice. Yeah.
Cavendish bananas for a kilo, top
Yeah,
quality.
yeah.
They're selling for $4 a kilo. I'm selling for $1.
Nice.
I mean, like, eggs. How ridiculous is the eggs?
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling them for $2. You went and picked them up, right?
yes.
For $2.50 a dozen. They're like
Yes.
$4, I think, at the shop.
Oh, and plus.
Or $4 something, I think they are.
Right.
So I mean, we're selling them cheap, $4 something. And just going through the stuff I have, just cheapest. You know, like a head of lettuce, $2.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
A head of broccoli, 70 cents.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
I mean, a cob of corn, beautiful corn, 50 cents.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yum.
I mean, like, just ridiculous prices.
Yeah, yeah.
A bag of mandarins, 1 kilo mandarins, $1.50.
Goodness.
Yeah.
me.
Wow.
A 3 kilo bag of navel oranges, you know, like $4. I think it's $3 or $4. I mean, it's just
Won't last
cheaper.
long.
Well, here's the issue: is that groceries are going through the roof. They still are.
Yeah.
Okay, but we do have these limited supplies, but we do have them on here to be a blessing in
Yes.
the basic areas. So there's lots of things like this we have running, so they come along. So I mean, it's just great deals. And then of course Danny has his non-perishable stuff,
Yes.
which is just great deals. And we had just someone donate to us $5,000
Yeah. Wow.
to go out and buy up on stuff because we can't get them from these
No.
so-called food bank stuff. They're just killing us.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have this whole area set up to do that. So for generation, just to bless our community.
Yes.
And then at 3:30, we're doing that Greek style thing.
Yeah,
Rotisserie.
lamb. Rotisserie.
Yeah, it's got a special name for good. So we're doing lamb, and we're doing beef, and we're doing chicken,
Right.
and it's $5 for a plate.
It's very good. I've road tested it
Yes.
So did I.
Me too.
Mine was a
very
bit
good.
Last
cold
week.
at the time.
That was
Yeah,
good.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice. So we'll be doing that as well, and we're giving away three.
Free.
How many?
Free.
Three $100
Gift voucher.
Visa card
Visa
gift
card
vouchers.
gift voucher.
Yes.
So that way you're not restricted to a shopping center or department. You can do it whether it be for petrol, whether it be for food, whether it be to buy your wife a special gift.
Or conspiracy information.
Or you can pay Shane.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah,
give you the
yeah.
inside information that we share. That comes in there. But also, please don't forget that there's also on the area there on Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
Men's
Yes.
breakfast.
Men's breakfast.
Men's breakfast.
Yes.
Woo. Who's speaking in this one?
I do believe it's me.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Shane is speaking. Are you going to be speaking in that area? In Hebrews?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Ooh,
So yeah,
very
we got
good.
a taste.
Yes.
So he'll be speaking. So we got our baked beans, eggs, bacon,
Sausage, yeah.
toast, coffee, anything else. How much?
$5.
$5.
You know, there's no money there. You know,
Yeah,
no
so
profit
cheap.
made.
Yeah.
So it's $5. So it's not too late to register. Come along and be a part of it. No matter what the weather's like, we're inside. So
Yeah.
We're inside.
it's only an hour, 7 to 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
So come and be a part of that. So
Good
it's
fellowship.
really great.
Yes.
Great fellowship.
Yes.
It is great fellowship.
Yeah.
And so just be a part of it. But I'm looking for this. Sunday was a good crowd on Sunday, wasn't it?
Great. Yeah.
That 9:30
9:30
and
was
the
good.
8 o'clock was great.
Yes.
And it always amazes me that 8 o'clock, Shane, that you just wonder, like, if it's cold or too hot, but they still turn up, don't they?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Shane, for joining us. We always appreciate
It's
it.
been awesome. It's been a pleasure. I love doing it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
The lovely Erica, thank you for being with us. Blessings on
pleasure.
you and all of your research. Ed?
Yes.
What can I say? Ed,
What can I say?
you're such a good man.
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're all right, yes. So can we have different music to go off this time?
You want different music to go off?
Yeah, I don't want that.
Oh, you don't want to go X-Files?
No.
That was X-Files.
No, no.
That was
Go back
fun.
to my jazz.
Hey, before we go, hey, shout out to Jackson. He helped me finish off the paneling in here. So that's why it hopefully sounds better. Hopefully it sounded better this
Sounds
week.
very good.
But yeah,
I
it
like
looks
some
pretty
more
good.
paneling done.
More paneling. We'll look into it.
Go around.
We'll look into it slowly.
Those
but
lights
surely.
aren't working.
Who's surely?
Yeah. Shirley who?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Sure to come. And on that note,
Okay, here we go. Finally. All right. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Bye.